And welcome back to the Gadget Spot.
Oh, that sounded like James, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Oh.
My wife.
Hey, that sounded like James.
Just like James.
Doing my best.
Hey, well done. All right, this is the Gadget Spot. We talk about gadgets, video games, and technology. Let's go around and introduce the table real quick. Owen.
Hey, I'm Owen. You can follow me on Twitter at TechNoan. I have...
Or don't, because he doesn't tweet.
Man, Jarron, I wasn't going to say anything about whether or not I was going to tweet this week. I'll tweet this week now, though, because Jarron threatened my tweetiness.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, probably won't. Anyway, at TechNoan, join the hordes of other people that follow me.
I think his...
How many people are in a horde?
You know, it's so
Because you're
far...
a plural.
So far, it's 3,000.
So we got 1,500. We'll say two hordes?
Yeah, we're gonna.
How many of those are bots?
2 hordes.
I don't know. I wasn't required to tell you how many people are actual real people or not.
I was going to say, I think your inclination to tweet is directly tied to how well cryptocurrency is doing. And
Yeah.
since it's been horrible...
I get down, and then I don't even pick up my phone. And then Jarron has to lure me out by posting in our Slack channel that's dedicated to cryptocurrency.
I'm going to start buying cryptocurrency.
I was like, no,
again.
you're not. And then I went and read the actual thing where he said, I'm going to go post in the cryptocurrency channel so that Owen will come out of hiding, and it totally worked. Anyway.
You been playing anything, Owen?
Have I been playing any games? No.
Doesn't sound like it.
No, I didn't. I would know if I did.
Yeah.
I did read about a game that I want. That
I
I'm
thought you
excited
tried
for.
out the Master Chief Collection, the update.
I did. I mean,
Okay, that's something.
yeah, I played that.
Talk about it.
Okay, well, it's fun.
It didn't change the gameplay. It changed
No.
how it looked.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I played it. I loved it when it was crappy. So,
there you go.
I still love it.
Halo, stick with Owen.
Yeah.
He'll never let you down.
Never. I can't unbreak that. I can't undo that. I'll always love Halo for the story.
He'll
And
never
then-
cheat on you.
Now, will Halo ever cheat on Owen? Oh, you
Yes.
They already did. They already did. They sold out. They're 343 Studios now.
bet. Uh-huh.
When Bungie was in charge, they were way better.
Back in my Bungie days.
Bungie days. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's all. I don't have any games unless you count Clash Royale. I picked that up
Again?
again,
Oh,
and
man.
Of all the things
it's
to
a
play.
horrible, horrible cell phone game, but it passes the time in the bathroom.
Good thing you bought that
So-
1X.
Yeah, yeah. If I could cast Clash Royale up to that, I'm gonna have to see if I can do that.
That's not what I meant.
Oh
Not at all.
no.
No.
All right, Jarron, introduce yourself.
This is me. I'm Jarron. You can find me on Twitter at Jarron, Jarron. And I have been playing some games. I bought Battlefield 1 for $5 on PC. And they're giving away the whole
Premium pack.
premium pass for
Wait,
free right now.
Which is that Battlefield 1? Is that actually one, or is
Well,
it like?
it's World War One, I guess.
It's World War I. It's the one James was playing all
Okay,
the time.
Yeah.
but they have like Battlefield. They're all out of order, right?
Oh, yeah, because
Okay.
Battlefield 1 was last year or 2 years ago, and Battlefield 5 is this year.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
Nah.
no,
For
it doesn't.
people like me that rely on the numbering system, that really messes me up. Anyway,
So I've been getting into mouse and keyboard. I used to do it exclusively growing up on my PC, but then I took like a 15-year hiatus with a gamepad. I got used to a gamepad. Now I'm back on mouse and keyboard. Oh my goodness,
PC Master Race.
it is so
Really?
much better.
No.
Yeah, I actually feel good, kind of.
About
Yeah.
about what?
I don't understand.
I can actually aim and
Oh, I see.
fire at people and hit them.
On a semi-consistent basis?
Uh-huh,
That's
on
what
a-
it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been playing a little bit of Overwatch. I got the Humble Bundle. You could get it right now for $12 with a bunch of other games in October.
I suspect they're Blizzard games, but
I bet
it's
they
not
will be.
confirmed.
Yeah. But you can get it for $12 right now, which is a great deal on Overwatch, which hardly goes on sale, especially for that low. And I kind of hate myself for liking that game so much.
Well, there's a reason it's so popular. It's actually pretty good.
I thought it would be hard to get into,
Nah.
given that people play that game for hundreds of hours on end, and I'm just getting into it. But it does a pretty good job of matchmaking, and it is very easy to get into. I kind of like it.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm almost done with Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
Such a good game.
So
I have one mission left, But then I decided to do the Frozen Wilds, so who knows how long that'll take.
Oh, are you going to stop and do those first?
Maybe.
You know what? Don't.
I
Don't.
didn't.
Is it
Like, no, the Frozen Wilds is... They did the bad thing with video games where they're like, let's add more content by giving you the same things, only making them harder. And the story there is...
Not so great?
It's okay.
Does it go into the past at all, or does it stay with stupid tribal stuff?
What's the guy's name?
Silence?
Silence. They don't really explore that, which is the whole reason I wanted to go up there.
Really? You don't explore Silence at all?
I mean, he talks to you a few times, but like they don't go into his backstory, even though that's obviously where he came from. They bring it up a little bit, but not enough to make it worth it.
Is it just all tribal junk, or do they go?
No, it's just like a whole other area. There's another hunting ground. There's more things. There's a whole other story coming around. It's fun.
Does it get into the broader story?
No, it's kind of just like a little. It's a solid DLC pack. It's a definite flavor. It's fun, but it's not. I'd finish the game.
Yeah, finish the game. Right. You can come back to the DLC later.
I'll unlock the map and then go finish the game.
There you go.
Yes,
sounds good.
You've also been playing some Doom, I saw.
Yeah, Doom on PC and
plug
Switch.
Along at that, and then we got to play some Black Ops
4.
We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Hey Joe.
Hi.
Welcome back to the show.
Hi. Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
You betcha.
You can follow me on Twitter if you really want to. I followed Ty on Twitter. I don't know if he folled me back.
He told me about it. He was so excited.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to follow Ty. And it's been good. He's tweeted more than Owen.
Yeah, he tweets a lot.
I am part of Owen's horde.
Yes.
I don't know which horde, 1 or 2.
I think you're in 1.
Okay.
You were for the early days.
It was the early days. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You could also, anyway, Twitter, it's Kaladane, Kaladhein. It's just one of those things I made up so that nobody else has it ever.
I told that story to my wife about how you just picked a whole bunch of fantasy names and like glued them together. And I was like, I would have never guessed that. I would have just said, what a cool fantasy character name from a fantasy book.
Right? It's pretty good.
Like a sci-fi book.
You can also know me as From Software is better than Naughty Dog, which I pay $6 a month to hear Jarron say out loud.
You too can have that privilege. You can make me say whatever you want within reason.
So thanks for having me back, Tony.
You betcha. And I'm Tony. Check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony, or every week on The Geek Show, or every other week always here on the Gadget Spot. Oh, wait. You didn't say what you've been playing lately.
Oh, yeah. I've been playing a lot of Dead Cells. Have you guys played Dead Cells at all?
No, I own it, but I haven't played it.
I love it. Now, the thing with Dead Cells is it's got a little bit of a push past point. It's really hard at first, and then as you start to kind of figure out the game, it makes sense.
You like those hard games.
I kind of do.
Oh.
It's a lot of fun. Once you kind of figure out what's going on with it, it's got this it's a roguelike.
Right.
But I've been playing a lot of that. I've never played WoW before, and I picked that up about a month and a half ago.
Really?
And
like
it
15 years in?
15 years in, I picked it up, played it with my friends for a month and a half. I just canceled my subscription. I have it till Friday. And that's actually been great because as soon as you buy the expansion, it just zooms you up to level, I think, 120, and then you just earn 10 more levels in your max level. So I have a max level Demon Hunter, and I've been having a great time with that, running old instances.
I should wait another decade to play Overwatch.
Maybe.
I don't think they do the same thing with
I don't know they do that.
Yeah.
So I've been playing. That's pretty much it. I did play Black Ops as well.
The beta? On what platform?
PC.
Nice. Okay. Well, you can interject in our conversation about that as well. Then
I will Oh wait, not yet.
Not yet. First, I got to talk about what I've been playing. I finished Firewatch. That was a fun little indie story game. Probably took about 5-6 hours to beat, but I highly recommend it if you're in the mood for a walking simulator that has a neat story and really good voice acting. But I'm a nerd about that kind of stuff, so maybe that won't appeal as much. Let's see.
I'm surprised you play that game because it has like no fantasy, sci-fi, magic element or anything like that.
I know. I was surprised too, but I enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, coming from a guy that doesn't usually play anything that's not science fiction or fantasy, that's a glowing review.
Indeed, it is.
Let's see. I've also been playing quite a bit of Quake Champions. There's just something about that game that's just a lot of fun, even though I rarely ever place in the top half of the contestants by the end of the match. It's just a lot of fun to get in there and rocket jump around, or play the insta-gib, however you want to say it, mode, where one-shot kill with the rail gun. Just super fast, super twitchy. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend that one.
I should give that a try because I loved Quake 3 Arena. On
you
the
really should,
Dreamcast.
because it plays like you remember Quake 3 Arena playing,
Oh,
just with prettier graphics.
yeah.
And then the other one I have been playing is Quantum Break, and Quantum Break's been a lot of fun. I think I'm a little over halfway through on that one. Graphically, you can tell it came out about 2 years ago, but it still looks pretty dang good. They did a fantastic job with the motion capture and facial expressions of the actors, so kudos to them on that. And then the gameplay is pretty good. I'd give the gameplay probably like a 7.5 out of 10 or so. It's fun. It relies really heavily on its time bending mechanics, but if you like that kind of stuff, it's pretty neat. And the story seems really cool so far too. So that's what I've been playing. Let's go ahead and talk about our awesome Patreon patrons.
Owen, what is Patreon? Quick.
It's a digital tip jar.
Bam.
For what?
For us. For what? Wait, we're not a what?
For Gadget Spot.
For gadgets. For
What does the dear listener get?
Oh, well, they get to help us, keep the lights on, pay some hosting fees,
And you get exclusive content
Oh yeah.
every once in a while.
every once in the when we can.
Yes, when we can. And if you pledge $6 or more, you have your name.
You can make Jarron say whatever you want.
That's
Exactly.
what I was like, oh, $6 a month to have your name read, but that's way, way better.
It's
Way to
true.
look at it. I'm gonna pledge. I'm gonna do it myself now, just to have James give me a compliment every show.
Jarron.
Jarron.
Yeah, my name's
give me
Jarron.
Whatever.
I see what you're trying to
James
do.
always gives you compliments.
Yeah, he
Yes.
does, and
His are free.
Yeah.
Jarron's you got to pay for.
yeah.
James is like a little dog wagging its tail, and Owen is like the master who doesn't give a crap.
I occasionally, I acknowledge him.
Exactly.
Like, here's smallish puppy that's wagging your tail. I love you.
Oh man.
And you should see him just light up.
I hope he listens to this. I really do.
Yeah.
We love you, James. And we love the following people who pledged our Patreon. A huge shout out and thank you to Adam Hecht, AJ Jasper, Aaron Young, and David Broshinsky.
You guys rock.
You guys go above and beyond. You're awesome. Thank you to Aaron Faulkner, Ryan Baker, Ryan McQueen. From Software is better than Naughty Dog.
Tastes dirty now.
Adam Foote, Valentine, Kevin Eccles, Derek Allred, Johnny Rios, Spencer Knowlton, Conrad Southworth, Brian Lee Morty, Austin Beauregard, Roger Allen, Michael Beck, Jeffrey Kale, Derek Bauer. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right. We also have some emails.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're going to have Jarron and Owen read a couple of those. Who's got one ready?
I do.
Okay. That sounded... You clear your throat first.
All right. From Benjamin, still catching up on show before last. History of graphics cards. Anyone still remember the Voodoo cards?
Oh, yeah.
I do. I had one. And the other off-brands, I think it was Diamond, S3, something along those
I
lines.
remember Diamond as well.
I think I had all those brands at one point. Either
So-
I'm misremembering history.
So Voodoo was 3DFX, right?
Yeah, it was.
And I believe they got bought by NVIDIA
I think you're right.
and became NVIDIA.
And pretty much all it did at the time
Like
was
the PhysX engine stuff. Is that what they came into?
They bought all their GPU tech.
Oh yeah.
They had their own, and then they bought Voodoo's and took the best
Was
bits
that
of
the
both.
birth? Was that the birth of Nvidia's cards?
NVIDIA purchased them and then came out with the
GeForce
series.
Oh.
Yep.
And at the time, I think all Voodoo did was texture filtering. It made the textures smooth rather than pixely. That's what I think it did because
That's interesting.
It seemed to run the exact same to me. It just made it look not as pixely.
That's super niche.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a very, very specific use for one piece of hardware.
Yeah, I might have been able to up the resolution a little bit, but that's basically the only thing I noticed. Like back in the Jedi Knight days, there was no lighting or anything like that. I remember when the DLC for Jedi Knight came out, it introduced colored lighting. I was just so excited, like, ooh, look at that red light. It's casting light on the surface. It's so cool. And everything was just like rectangles on top of rectangles. It was awesome. Anyway, I loved the old-time graphics cards. Thanks, Benjamin, for the email.
We got an update from Adam Hecht. It was a really long update to all of us, so I'm just going to cut it apart to the relevant parts for the podcast.
There you go.
So first of all, he talks about his dad's solar project, which we talked about back when I was getting solar, and we were talking about solar batteries, and there was those DIY projects where people take laptop batteries or like old batteries from cars and stuff and turn them into their own homemade Powerwall.
Mm-hmm.
He said his dad's doing the project's doing pretty good. The other thing he mentioned, Jarron, he said you reviewed the iRig. I wanted to let you know that he's got some software. Anyway,
Bias FX software.
yeah, and he runs an open stage. In fact, I follow him on Facebook, and he runs an open stage. And if you're down in the Arizona area, you should go check it out.
That is so cool. I'm so glad someone is using the iRig for something worthwhile, unlike me, because I don't ever touch
Now
guitar
it just
anymore.
sits there, doesn't it?
I wish I had time to play the guitar. It's guitar games, and so, I mean, you don't want me to talk about guitar every week, do you?
No.
Yeah.
He also talks about your panels. Were you at FanX, Tony?
I was there for
Yeah.
a little bit. I talked to Adam for a few minutes. Yep.
Yeah, he
Caught up with him.
I didn't make it to FanX this time. Don't they do FanX twice a year still, or is it just once?
I think
now?
it's just one now.
They're doing it in April.
I hope it's just the one for the year. I hope
I
they're
think
just
it's one
moving it
this
up.
year. But you don't know that they're doing one in the fall. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
because they got sued by San Francisco Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
and they won.
No,
San Francisco
yeah,
won.
San Diego.
San Diego, won, and so they rebranded their FanX into their main Comic-Con, which I didn't know that till I read about it from this email. So,
Yeah,
anyway,
I personally feel like one con a year is enough.
yeah,
Those are just my
Yeah,
feelings.
Utah doesn't need two cons.
I think that they spread
but they were
it,
filling the
spread it
seats
too
though.
thin.
But they were filling the seats.
Yeah.
I guess
I guess
maybe they would lack on star power coming.
I think what they did was probably right. It was way overloaded for the first few years, though.
Yeah,
Like the first year was nuts.
Yeah, but that was because it was the first year.
Right. And now that it's kind of done, I think they could do one a year.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
But
do
I
they
think,
have-
I think
okay.
what they did was fine, and I think one a year now is about right.
They had
Oh,
Nathan
all right.
Fillion there this year.
Fair enough. He's there every
Serious?
year.
Yeah,
He
was
is?
there.
Not
Mhm.
every year, but he comes pretty frequently.
Why do I not know this? I love him because he played Nathan Drake in a short little short.
Anyway, he said your panels were
It's a
awesome.
pretty long
Adam Hecht
short.
Oh,
You're
thanks,
right.
Adam.
It was so good.
It was good.
And and he gave us a whole bunch of information about his some of his acting stuff, which was kind of cool. So if you guys in the podcast here haven't read the email, go check it out. It's really long. Thanks for the update, Adam. And then the last one here is from Adam Foot.
Are you sure it's not just
It's,
foot?
it's pronounced foot.
Foot. I'm trying to be more, I'm trying to channel James.
Perhaps it is pronounced foot.
Foot.
Footy.
Footy. He says let's see. I'm looking to finally upgrade my motherboard and CPU to go with my GTX 1070.
Oh, snap.
Currently running an i5 2500K
That is
3.3
old.
gigahertz with 24 gigs of RAM and an 8-year-old motherboard.
Yep.
I'm trying not to break the bank, so I'm looking for something that will work really well with my graphics card and last for a while. Tony, the PC
Well,
Master Race.
I have an opinion.
Oh.
It's probably Tony's opinion, but he's the guy.
I have two opinions. If you don't want to upgrade again at all, I would say stick with an Intel. They're releasing their 6 and 8 core stuff to the mainstream CPU market in the next little bit here. I would say wait for that.
He says he doesn't want to break the bank, though.
You can do the i5 for probably, I think, usually around like $250. I mean, it'd be about the same as what he paid when he bought his one originally 8 years ago.
You can't use the same motherboard, though.
No, obviously he'd have to get a new motherboard too. There's no way he's going to get just another CPU to drop in that motherboard.
Right.
The other option is if you feel like maybe you're going to want to upgrade your CPU again in the next couple years after you buy it this year, you might want to go AMD because AMD uses the same socket for 4-ish years at a time, and they've only been on their current socket for 1. So you could buy something nice now, and then 2 years down the road decide, oh, I want something faster, and use their next gen CPU then. Honestly, though, judging by what you were saying with what you have right now, I'd say probably go with the Intel. Go with a Z370 motherboard. And
You really think an i5 would be better than like a 1700X or 1800X?
Yes, for gaming, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because they clock them a lot higher, and games still rely way too heavily, if you ask me, on clock speed versus threads. So I would say, I guess it'll be a Z390 when those new Intel chips come out. But that and whatever the i5 is, the unlocked i5 variant, I'd say go for that. You're probably going to end up spending about $500. So, you're going to have to get new RAM too.
Yep.
Because that's
Mobo.
DDR3 RAM, and you'd be moving up to DDR4 RAM.
It's basically a whole new computer.
Yeah.
Your bank's broke.
Exactly, Joe.
Go to PC Part Picker or what's it called?
PCPartPicker.com,
Yeah.
and you can spec some stuff out there. But honestly, if you're building something you want to be happy with for the next 8 years, I would say plan on spending $700, right around there.
which is way cheaper than
How
if
much
you buy
would
that, like pre-built. So
How much would a
yeah.
reasonable AMD build run?
Reasonable AMD build. So that's actually a good option too, because you could probably find a reasonable AMD build with, if you don't plan on doing SLI, you can get a B350 or I guess at this point it's a B450 motherboard.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't support SLI or Crossfire, and you can usually get a nice one of those boards for about $130, and you'd be in it for your chip probably another $230. So in that case, you're going to be in it probably only $500 when you include the RAM. So
That reminds me, I need to sell my Mobo.
yeah, you have an extra one.
I do. Adam, I have a Mobo for you.
So yeah, that's a good option too. If you really don't want to spend the extra dough on that, and honestly, with the way the AMD chips are right now, they're competitive. You're gonna have a good time with that chip. I mean, I'm running my 1700X from last year. I am probably going to upgrade next year when they introduce the Zen 2 architecture, but I won't have to upgrade my motherboard.
Just the chip.
Just the firmware, just the BIOS, and the new chip. So yeah, there's pros and cons to either one, but if you want to go Intel, plan on spending probably about $700. If you want to go AMD, you could probably get by doing more like $500, $550. And that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, not a bad amount compared to what you look at at Best Buy or other big box stores or even any online stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, you're building yourself, you actually can save quite a bit.
and you get usually get higher quality parts. Like
Yeah.
if you want to spend the same amount, you get a higher quality part.
And we got one last question from AJ Jasper. Hey, Gadget Spot, 2-part question. Looking for a 27-inch-ish 4K monitor for gaming for my 2080 Ti.
Oh baby,
Also, I got the Founders Edition. Lucky.
oh baby.
It is the sexiest graphics card I've ever seen, that Founders Edition.
I've seen sexier, but
No.
it is by far the best reference card they've ever put out.
You're wrong. I also got the Founders Edition, which I believe can be overclocked, so I was wondering if I could get some help from you all since I've never done it once I get it.
Sure. I mean, the way that NVIDIA is setting up their overclock program now.
Don't they have just a one-button overclock?
It's one button.
It's
Yeah.
one button now,
It
yeah.
automatically does it checks for all
Everything.
the tolerances that it can do and automatically overclocks you to the maximum that card will support.
That's awesome. Why haven't they done that?
Based
until
on their
now?
own interpretation, though.
Well, yeah.
Doesn't that take the overclocking used to be push it till it breaks, then back off.
Yeah, that's how it used to be. And you know how long I've spent overclocking and then gone back to stock settings afterward?
Really, you just couldn't handle
All the time.
instability.
I have never held an overclock for longer than maybe 3 weeks.
Really?
Yep, except for, I take that back. One time on my i7 3770K back in the day, there was a one-button overclock in the BIOS of that motherboard that I had, and it was rock solid at 4.2 gigahertz. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Why did you ever sell that?
Oh, I still have it.
Oh.
It's my mining rig.
Bam.
You should sell that.
I like it too much, though. The nostalgia. So, screens. Okay. This is how much do you want to spend, AJ? How much you want to spend? Now, judging by your purchases that we're aware of in the past, money's not too much of an issue. I really recommend there is an Acer or an Asus 27-inch 4K HDR G-Sync monitor that you can get.
That's the holy grail.
It is the holy grail of gaming monitors, and I can't for the life of me remember the model number. I will look it up while Jarron talks, but it is $2,000 for that monitor.
If you want an extreme budget pick, I have a monoprice 4K HDR 32-inch monitor. It is definitely budget. I got it for $350, but I like it. I like it a lot. It has great color. The brightness is definitely not HDR quality. It's only 200 nits when HDR should be closer to 1,000.
So this,
But the color's great. It works great. It's kind of bare bones, but it was so cheap. I like it.
now this guy's the Asus ROG Swift PG27UK. It is, like I said, 4K HDR, G-Sync, 144 hertz refresh rate.
It can't
And-
push 144 with 4K HDR, though.
No, but up to 144 with no screen tearing, basically, because of the
Man.
G-Sync.
Yeah.
And it has 384 areas of LED backlight.
Local dimming.
Local
Sweet.
dimming. And goes up to 1,000 nits of brightness.
That is
I mean, it is
perfect.
It is amazing. You are definitely paying a premium for it, though.
I'll probably go down
$2,000.
to $1,000 in a year or two, though.
Yeah, probably. And then you have a couple of other options that look pretty good. There are a few 32-inch 4K HDR monitors you can get out there from like LG and Acer, I think, makes one. But the thing you want to look for on those is first you want to make sure, honestly, if you ask me, that it's a VA panel. I don't like IPS panels because they have really bad backlight bleed. So I would say make sure it's a VA panel, but IPS isn't that bad.
I think VA panels have bad backlight bleed as well.
No, they have better.
Not my Samsung TV.
Well, that's because you bought the wrong TV.
Ugh.
And the other thing with the VA panels is better contrast than the IPS panels. But what's the word I'm looking for? Millisecond. What's
Response time.
Response time, yeah. Keep that response time as low as possible. I would say you don't want to go anything above 5 milliseconds. 8 milliseconds is okay. If you're not going to do any competitive gaming, 8 milliseconds is probably fine. But try to keep it 5 and below, and you'll probably be good to go. But definitely, you have a wide range of options there between $400 and $2,000. So
There you go.
definitely check Tom's Hardware. They have a whole review section on monitors, and you can see what's available there. So anyway, that's my nickel's worth of whatever. Should we get started on the topics of the show?
Feels like we already got started long ago.
We've been talking about good topics. All right, Joe.
Hi.
Hey, welcome back.
Thank you once again. I found out that I got invited on like, I don't know,
Like
an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
So I'm prepping my notes for what I'm going to be talking about.
Well,
That's why I
perfect.
haven't been doing much, but I'm
Because it's your turn to talk.
yeah.
So Joe got the opportunity to go to PAX West
Yes, I did.
up in Seattle a couple of weeks ago.
What is PAX West?
Yeah, Joe, explain it.
So, if you've been around on the internet at all and like to play video games, you've probably heard of Penny Arcade, which is a
Yes.
webcomic. A long time ago, they basically, I don't know the whole history about it, but my understanding is basically they wanted to create an E3 for people that weren't media types.
Yeah, because
Oh, that'd be cool.
it used to be E3 was media and what's the word for the people that work in the industry?
Industry people.
Industry. people.
Media and industry people only. They only recently opened it up to the public a couple years ago.
Yeah, so, and PAX is all over the place. I thought there was only a few, but apparently there's a whole bunch of them around. But PAX West is called PAX Prime. It's where the original ones, the guys are from Seattle. I have a friend who moved up to Seattle and got me tickets back in May and asked me if I wanted to go. And I said yes. And then I got in trouble because my wife was like, what do you think you're doing over Labor Day weekend?
Not hanging out with the family?
Take her with you.
No, I got 3 kids. So
Take them with you.
no, even with a place to stay, I can't afford 5 plane tickets up to Seattle.
Yeah.
Especially so that I can ignore everybody. That is what is more or less like it is amazing, but it is a cluster of people.
Yeah.
So to kind of give you a quick idea of what the actual thing is, this is a map I'm going to show these guys. But imagine your experience at FanX, but like laid out over 4 or 5 different floors. And like
Oh,
the
crazy.
bottom
Wow.
floor is like escalators. The second floor is board games. The third floor, there really wasn't much. Then the 4th floor is the main floor. And each of those sections that this thing was.
I like that the map even says on the floor at 3. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Yeah, that's what the sign said. And then you can go all the way up to the 6th floor. But, I mean, there's like 100,000 people there.
Wow.
And the thing that gets nuts with it is the convention center, as big as it is, they still rented out a whole bunch of hotels and restaurants.
This sounds a lot like CES ends up being.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot like that other than but it's just all video games. You just go and there's a bunch of people doing it. Now, the funnest thing about it is there's a bunch of developers that are there with like, hey, there's this game I've built that I'm going to release soon. Do you guys want to play it? And you're like,
Oh, cool.
yes. And you can talk to them all about it. And
That is so cool.
so I spent more time doing that than I did standing in the big line. So like the Nintendo, Sony, Xbox booths, I just kind of avoided because the wait times were anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. Like it was like 2 hours to play the Spider-Man game that was coming out a week after that. There was no chance of doing that. So what I kind of wanted to do was talk about a couple of the games that I got to play, but then I just wanted to mention some that I thought were really funny.
Yeah.
And you guys can kind of look out for them. So have you guys ever read the comic Cyanide and Happiness?
Yeah.
So they're doing an isometric battle royale
Awesome.
with those characters. It's called Rapture Rejects.
Oh my god.
And it's just silly, dumb, cartoonish thing, but it's a battle royale where you can just go around and shoot everybody. But the idea is that the Rapture came and all the people that didn't make it are just trying to kill each other on Earth.
I like the premise.
says the rapture happened. You didn't make the cut.
It's super funny, and like I played that one for 10 minutes, and that's just a good game to play with friends or do whatever. It'd be a good one to jump on for lunch break or
Did
something.
they say
that
how
way.
many people it'll support per round?
There was, I think, 8 to 10 in our round. So, and if the other thing about this is until you've seen this, I've just never been to where I've seen this many computers in one place. Like they just have towers everywhere. And every time you go somewhere, there's like 10 computers and everybody's waiting in line and everybody just goes and gets on the next one and you play and you play.
That has
and
to
you
be
play
good
and you
air
play.
conditioning.
Oh, it was crazy. And it wasn't even hot, which, considering, the clientele, which was nice because
What are you trying to say, Joe? What are you trying to say?
there are plenty of people there that don't have hygiene.
Just like any comic convention.
You
or
know
game
what? I would
convention,
say this
it's-
one is slightly, I'd rank it just slightly under your Comic-Con convention because these are the people that they just play video games. They don't even
Oh.
care about cosplay. I mean, there's plenty of people doing cosplayer stuff,
Sure.
but these are the people that are straight up basement dwellers.
Oh,
there's,
man.
there's more of that here.
This is their whole year's social outing
That's
in
it.
4 days.
Yeah, for sure. And the board game rooms. Now the board game rooms did get a little warm and smelly, so that's
Which is odd. You would think no, but
yeah. So I played a couple board games. I did my first D&D round too. That was pretty
nice.
interesting. So that game's super fun. So if you get a chance to look that up, if you like that kind of humor, I did actually get to meet Rob Domblaker, I think his name is, one of the artists.
Oh, cool.
He was really cool. I said hi. And he said thanks for what he did. He said thanks, and then I walked away. Anyway,
That's how most celebrity encounters go.
right.
Yep. Hi, I like you. Thanks.
Well, see,
Okay,
he
bye.
was sitting at the desk where they have the papers, and I've seen online where he'll draw pictures of things, and I didn't know if he was doing it. He wasn't sitting
give him a
down,
napkin.
so I just
You're
kinda,
like, I've got this napkin for you. to
I
draw
just kind of
something."
walked away.
Right.
So, if you ever played Super Mario Maker, here's kind of a generic version where someone took a bunch of very lookalike sprites, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
can build all your own levels of like Zelda, Metroid, everything together, and
These
and
are
kind of mesh it up.
straight up riff-offs.
Oh, they're straight up
Oh,
ripoffs.
Here's-
Nintendo's
but
going to shut that down.
Here's a,
oh no, but they didn't
no,
use
it's
anything.
not just Nintendo.
It's anything
Yeah.
on the NES Classics.
Here's
if
a
you played
Mega
it.
Man looking guy. Here's a Metroid looking guy. Here's a Link looking guy. Here's a Bionic Commando looking guy.
And you know what? It's more fun than Super Mario
There's a
Maker.
Shinobi looking guy. That's
I
awesome.
played that one. I like that one.
Oh yeah, that looks great.
And then the next one I wanted to talk about was called Retimed. This one's actually coming out on the Switch this next week.
Ooh.
Think of it as a Smash Brothers game, but
Ooh.
you shoot each other with bullets, and it's very cartoony.
So it's kind of like Towerfall.
Well, yeah, so it's kind of like Towerfall, but the thing with this, it's called Retime. The whole gimmick of this is when the bullets get close to you, there's an area bubble where things go in slow motion to where you can kind of dodge and do different things with it.
That sounds like fun.
and
Is
so
it local co-op or
Yeah,
local
so it's a
multiplayer?
local multiplayer. I don't know if they were doing anything online, but that game was a lot of fun, and that one's coming out on the Switch next week. So
Nice.
if you guys wanted to check that out, you could do it a little sooner.
Retimed.
The next game I was going to bring up was I'm going to bring up the Dark Souls-like games.
Boo.
So good. Okay, so there's this game called Hellpoint, and the best way to describe this is if you played Dark Souls, but you were playing it in Dead Space.
Ooh.
So it's a space Dark Souls game. It's
dang it.
so cool looking.
That kind of appeals to me.
And you know what? It was pretty hard. It's one of those games where it was pretty hard. So we kind of got going on it, and I'm like, I'll probably buy it, but the controls weren't quite as tight as Dark Souls games, so maybe it'll get a little bit better as it goes. But it looks super interesting.
I'm watching a video of Retimed. It looks so fun.
No, it was a lot of fun. I played a couple rounds of it, and we had a really good time with it. I liked it.
So it's definitely 2D.
Yeah,
but it looks like a lot of fun if you have a lot of people in the same
super
room.
fast paced with that one, even though it keeps slowing down.
I gotta ask, how are the graphics in this Hellpoint game?
You know, it was pretty good. I wasn't overly impressed, but you know, with this, I don't know if it says it's coming out in 2019. They could do a lot more with it. It was a little buggy. They were still working on it. A lot of these games at PAX are still in development.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the thing that's cool is you get to play games before they come out.
Where's that music coming from?
Is it coming from your laptop?
Jarron.
No, mine's muted.
I'm muted.
That's mine.
Owen.
It wasn't me for once.
I was watching Retime.
This
It
is
was quiet at least. I was watching a Retime actual gameplay. It looks really fun.
the Hellpoint is coming out on every platform you can think of. Xbox, PS4, Switch, Windows, Linux, and Apple. All of them.
Apple?
You know, and
Yep.
we were able to
There's
talk
an
to
Apple
some-
logo.
Like Mac?
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was a little hard. We didn't get too far into it. We got to the first boss and it kicked our butts, and we kind of moved on to the next thing. There's always someone waiting.
That's what I do with those games, period. I just move on to the next thing.
Me too, usually. I am interested in it, though.
So I'm going to tell you about the two of the weirder games. One of them is called Donut County. And the best
I've
way
heard of that.
best way to describe Donut County is Katamari Damacy, but you're a hole and you're trying to get everything to fall in the hole.
whoa.
So you're all like
This sounds-
think of like
this
your
sounds
old Looney
sketchy.
Tunes, like your old Looney Tunes. Think of your old Looney Tune cartoons where Bugs Bunny's hole would move in the ground and things would fall in it. It's kind of
Sure.
like that, but you're trying to make campfires and things fall
and
on
the
the
more
ground.
stuff falls in, the bigger the hole gets.
I don't know. I wasn't able to play it. The line was ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure my kid's been playing this online or on somewhere.
Is it out yet?
I don't know, but the line was super crazy for that thing. So that's kind of why I'm bringing it up. I thought you're definitely going to hear about it.
That sounds sketchy.
There's another game. The other game that I really wanted to play, but I didn't want to stand in line for, was called Untitled Goose Game.
Is that the one where you're the goose and you chase the farmer around the...
Yeah, you basically just screw with everybody. Like your goals are like get the farmer's sandwich. So like you have to go and like turn on the hose and make the farmer mad so you can go steal the sandwich and stuff like that.
Kind of sounds like Goat Simulator, but
Yes.
with more interaction.
Yeah.
More purpose.
Yeah.
I hate that game. Goat Simulator. My kids love that game.
I had a lot of fun with that game for about 20 minutes.
Oh man. So times that by 10. That's how long I've been forced to endure that.
Wait, do you have to play it with them or watch
Well,
them play
no,
it?
but like my kid always wants to. He's like, he wants to hang out with me. It's like, hey, let's play a game. I'm like, what game do you want to play? Goat Simulator. And I'm always like,
So
not anything else.
3 1/3 hours. That's how long you've endured it.
Yeah, about that.
Okay. All right.
10 times that.
Look, the math was supposed to be arbitrary.
I
Got
you.
it.
It's rhetorical math.
Yeah.
Okay, the next game, these are some of the games that just had weird, funny mechanics. This one's called Boyfriend Dungeon, and it's like a dungeon crawler,
Sounds awesome.
but your weapons are sexy beasts. And I don't mean like beasts like animals, like they're just sexy humans.
You like throw them at the...
No, they turn into weapons, but you date your weapons to power them up.
What?
So it's like you're playing the
Sounds
game,
bizarre.
and then between the rounds of the game, you take your weapons on dates to power them up.
This sounds way Japanese.
It's ridiculous, but I mean, look at the picture of that guy on the front. Like,
He's a good-looking fella.
Specimen.
right?
You know,
so,
he looks like a modern day pirate.
so if you ever wanted to date a sword, Boyfriend Dungeon's the
Whoa.
game for you.
Who hasn't?
I like
I
that.
know.
Boyfriend Dungeon with a heart over the eye, and then it says, level up your love.
Oh my god!
It's fantastic. Okay, this is my favorite description of a game. Okay, it's called Get in the Car, Loser. If you've ever seen Steven Universe, this game looks like that type of animation.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to read to you the thing on the card. A lesbian road trip RPG by the co-creator of Lady Killer in a bind about fighting for love and justice in the face of indifference and discovering yourself, whatever the F that means.
Yeah, perfect ending to
So
that.
get in the
sentence.
car, loser.
Let me see
Get
this.
in the car, loser. And it's like your old school
kind of
kind of
pixely.
Yeah, it's definitely pixely, and it has that kind of old school turn-based style of fighting with a party, kind of Final Fantasy.
That's what I was thinking of, Final Fantasy.
This is a game that's already out on the Switch. If you guys like Ninja Gaiden, there's a game called The Messenger.
I have not heard of this one.
It's basically like Ninja Gaiden with funny
jokes,
jokes and stuff. Like there's a lot of attitude and things going on, but the game plays Ninja Gaiden straight up.
Oh, it's Devolver Studios. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that one's good. And then I just have a couple more to talk about that I wanted to bring up. My favorite, my game that I thought was the absolute best game of the whole thing was called My Friend Pedro. Now, if you get a chance, look at the My Friend Pedro Bananas trailer. I'm going to show Tony here as we go. It's basically this 2D side-scrolling shoot 'em up with heavy bullet time with a banana that talks to you.
Yeah, this was showcased at the Microsoft E3 event.
And
it looks bonkers.
It's bonkers,
Just
and
bonkers.
it is so fun to play. You just feel super OP, but it's not like to the point where you're just killing everything. Like it's still pretty hard.
Can you die?
Oh, absolutely, you can die. I played this level, and then there was a shooting level where everybody's on motorcycles, and I'm having to do flips back and forth and pause the thing and slow everything down so I can shoot two people, one hand, this way, one hand to that way, and kind of time it just right to shoot two people in the head. There's boss fights. You can ricochet bullets off of everything. It is just so much fun to play.
It looks insane.
It's crazy, but it was super fun. And this was one of those times where I went over and there was like this giant, probably it was like the size of a wall type screen with the projector. And there was a couch in front of it and nobody was sitting on it. So I sat down and the developer was just there. And I was like, hey, can I play that game? He's like, sure. I sat there for like a half hour playing this game.
No way.
I played a level. My friend played a different level. We just kind of sat there and talked to the developer about it. And he was like, yeah, we're doing this and this and that. But it was super fun.
What was it called?
My Friend Pedro.
When does it come out?
I don't know.
He throws a frying pan up and shoots the frying pan to ricochet the bullets off the frying pan and kill people.
Yeah, see, that's the level I played with the guns and the bullets and the motorcycle. He's on a
skateboard.
It's just so much fun to play. It says Nintendo Switch and PC. Honestly, though, that game is definitely mouse and keyboard. Tried it with the controller. It was super hard.
I guess I lied about it being on the Xbox thing if it's Nintendo Switch and PC. I must have seen it during something else then.
I don't know.
I know Devolver had their own Keynote, so maybe it must have been during their own Keynote.
Coming in early 2019.
Nice.
Okay, the other game I want to tell you guys, this is a game I think you guys, if you are interested in a more descriptive type Dark Souls game, this was Dark Souls, but it gave you instructions on what to do. And the art style looks just like that. I really like it. It's called Ashen.
Nobody's got eyes.
I've heard of Ashen.
Or noses.
They kind of look like the modeling dummies.
Yeah.
So I played that character. I got to create my own character. I created a girl with a ponytail and a big mustache. So I like that they let me do that.
The girl had a mustache?
Yeah, so I had like a girl with a ponytail, but like I had like a Robin Hood goatee and mustache.
Living the dream.
So Ashen is it was a lot of fun.
3D or 2D?
3D. It's a full platformer. It's like I said, it plays a lot like Dark Souls.
Okay.
But they kind of tell you a little bit more about what's going on. There's a map. It's not so
That was probably honestly
cryptic.
my biggest complaint about Bloodborne was I just had no idea what the heck was going on.
You just need a Sherpa. I'm here for you, Tony.
He will guide me.
Let me bear your blood. Bloodborne. No,
sure.
No, doesn't work. Okay, just a couple more. I got to go to the THQ Nordic booth and play every game that they had going on.
I like that company.
They're a lot of fun. So I definitely played Darksiders 3.
Yeah.
And what I would say is if you played Darksiders 1, which I absolutely loved, I felt like it was an adult version of Zelda.
Right.
And then I played Darksiders 2, which I kind of got bored with because I felt like there was too many RPG elements that really bogged it down and the combat's really not that fun.
Mm-hmm.
But then Darksiders 3 is kind of bringing it back, keeping some of those RPG elements, but bringing it back to the Darksiders 1 part. So if you like the Darksiders games, it's solidly a Darksiders game. There's nothing amazing about it. It was fun to play as Envy.
Nice.
Which,
by the way, Envy isn't a horseman.
Well, I don't think they wanted to do Pestilence or
Famine.
I don't know. They're like, I'm going to just make everybody really hungry. So they decided to pick 7 Deadly Sins, I guess, to go with it.
Okay, because I can understand why they wouldn't want to do that, but I wonder why they chose Envy out of the 7 Deadly Sins.
I don't know, and I didn't get a chance. I mean, they didn't really go into the story, but I got to play the demo version.
Cool.
There's a game called Biomutant, which kind of reminds me of a Ratchet and Clank type game, something where you're like a creature going through. It's very linear, but it's also seems open world, fighting bosses, kind of growing up, upgrading.
That's a good game.
It was fun.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, yeah. And
Sounds cool.
But it's that style of game.
Yeah.
You know, your Banjo-Kazooie, Ratchet and Clank, just not really open world type thing.
Ukulele sucks, by the way.
Well, okay then.
I wonder if Jarron helped with that Kickstarter.
No, I didn't.
No, he bought my.
I bought
code for
Tony's
it.
copy, and I regret every second of it.
If you want another, sorry, this is another side. If you're looking for another kind of close shooter up style, not shooter, fighter, kind of like a Smash Brothers, a game called Treadnoughts, Treadnauts. You're these little tanks, and you can shoot back and forth, and the gravity works really weird, but your treads stick to the ground. But you kind of flip all around. That was a lot of
you're
fun.
upside down or whatever, the treads will stick.
Yeah, and like when you shoot, it launches you to the wall, so you got to kind of time the way you shoot to kill them. So it's kind of like a mixture of Worms Armageddon type combat with
I
tanks.
loved Worms.
But it's also like 4-player battle between everybody. So it's like Worms, but you can move around.
Real time.
Yeah,
Rather
but
than turn-based?
but it's fast paced like Smash Brothers,
Yeah.
It's
But
not
you're-
turn based.
not turn based.
Interesting.
This sounds really fun.
So if
I
you can watch
love
a-
games like this.
If you look at a video for that one is available already on Steam.
Oh wow! So you can like launch yourself up into the air.
Yeah,
That's
it was pretty hard. It was fun, but that one's got a bit of a learning curve with it. Okay, the other THQ Nordic game that I think is going to be a big game, I really hope it is. It was a lot of fun to play, and I'm going to kind of show Tony the video. It's called Generation Zero. The best way to describe this is open world. What's the Left 4 Dead? But instead of zombies, it's robots. So it's like we've made it to the point where AI's taken over. They're killing everybody. There's just robots all over the place, and you just have this big open world that you're exploring, trying to figure out what's going on.
Cooperative or single player?
It was co-op. They didn't have it set to demo for co-op. I was only able to play by myself, but it was super fun. and
How did
was
it control?
intense.
How were the controls?
Really good. It was a solid shooter. I mean, for
I'm in 100%.
I mean,
This looks awesome.
When you look at the when you start looking at the gameplay, there are like these dog robots. There's these drones all over the place. It kind of reminded me of like RoboCop kind of stuff, but it's just like a big DayZ type map.
Yeah.
Everything's empty, but you're just exploring, trying to figure it out.
Is there a story?
They wouldn't tell us the story. They just said, "Yeah, you'll figure it out as you play."
Oh,
It's a good graphics.
Interesting.
I mean, it was beautiful and it was fun. I really liked that.
really good graphics.
that's cool.
Wow.
I'm interested.
So
in
look
this
look for Generation Zero when that comes out. It says you can sign up for the closed beta right now on the YouTube video I'm looking at here. And then the last two things I wanted to talk about from PAX. Well, there's three things. Black Future 88, which I know Tony's read The Running Man.
Yeah.
If you've seen the Running Man movie, this guy really liked the aesthetic of Running Man, and he made a roguelike, but the tower's the roguelike. He built this tower, so it kind of reminds you of like it reminded me of Dredd, the new Dredd, where he's got to go up a tower and there's just things everywhere. But every time you play the game, the levels are completely different. Like one time there's hunters coming after you, and another time like you can get addicted to drugs, which powers you up. But if you don't keep doing drugs, you blow up because it's gasoline based. It's just this nuts roguelike where you're trying to go up to the top to get to the end. And I was able to talk to the developer for quite a while on this one, and he put a lot of love into that game. But if you like roguelikes and you want to kind of play a really unique pixel one with bright neon Running Man like aesthetic, that's a good one to do.
Nice.
And then I wanted to bring this up because Tony's a huge fan of
CD Projekt
Red. So I once upon a time went on a mission to Poland, learned to speak Polish, and I went over there, and there's this huge booth in the middle of the indie place that says Poland. And I was like, what's going on here? And there's a thing called
Poland.
Indie Games Polish
I was
Foundation.
going to say, Poland actually has quite a few game developers.
Well,
in it.
and that's what so I kind of went up there and I was like, hey, yo, cześć, jak się masz? And I started talking in Polish for him a minute, and he was just like, oh, you speak Polish? And I was like, no, not really. Once
used
upon a
to.
time, dude. Yeah, it's been a while. But then I asked him, so can you tell me why there's not like, a Bulgarian booth? Why isn't there somebody over here from Italy? Like, why is Poland? He said, well, basically what happened was when the CD Projekt Red went huge and they they just sold. It was just like this blow up thing from the small studio, and then it got so big that like a lot of people left and started their own smaller game studios. And so they had experience on this AAA title playing making The Witcher, and they're like, let's go make another game. So they didn't have a ton of games. They had a bunch of games to show, but most of them were tech demos about really cool things. So I played this VR game, which kind of reminded me of was it Forsaken?
Okay.
But it was this
Like the old Descent style game?
yeah, Descent.
Yeah. Yep.
Sweet.
So, and there was actually a Descent game. If you wanted to, and we talked to them like, this is Descent. They're like, yeah, it's Descent. Like it's
cool.
it's Descent with new graphics. So there was a game like that. I don't remember what it was
I'm
called.
down.
But this one was kind of like that, but you would just warp yourself all over the screen, and there was no real gravity. You could warp yourself on the wall and shoot the other guy, and it was pretty fun to play with the VR. But it was more, like I said, a tech demo than it was a complete game.
Right.
But they invited me to come to their thing. I didn't go to it because they seemed to want investors, and I was just like, but
I will give you all the money in my wallet.
I got right.
$2.
I got this card that said, "Come enjoy traditional Polish cuisine, pierogi and vodka." I was like, it sounded really good, but so that was really cool. But that's why there's such a big group of game developers in Poland, and not necessarily all over the place in Europe that way.
Yeah, Poland has their two biggest, I believe, are CD Projekt Red and Techland. Techland is Dead Island and Dying Light.
Oh, yeah.
And Dying Light was an excellent game, kind of a sleeper if you ask me. I don't think it sold as well as it should have. It sold well, but it should have sold like really, really good. I'm very excited for Dying Light 2. And then they have this new one that they just released. It's in early access. It's they call it Battle Royale, but it's not really Battle Royale because I think the max players you can have is 12. But basically, it's a Dying Light map that has 12 people that can get in there and all the different zombies from the game. So you have to stay alive and destroy these zombie nests, and whoever can basically stay alive till the end and destroy the most zombie nests wins.
So he kind of encourages, I don't know, teaming up until the zombies are taken care of, then you kill each other. Maybe.
I think it more just encourages trying to kill a nest while trying not to get killed by someone else.
Oh, that doesn't sound as fun to me.
You could probably team up with a buddy, though, and do it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just like people do in PUBG and whatnot.
Hey, I have this just in news.
Ooh.
What's that?
Twitter will let you switch to a chronological feed in a few weeks from now.
Oh, good. Something that should have been there from the very beginning.
It was there from the very beginning.
There, but then got taken out.
Yeah. So that's great news because they should have done this a long time ago. So you can switch between the chronological feed or their, I guess, more traditional now algorithmic feed. But I would definitely choose the chronological feed. That's cool.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to finish up by telling you the last game, which is called Pray for the Gods.
How many last games have there been?
This is the only one that's the last one. The other ones were a few more.
All right.
It's called Pray for the Gods, Prey.
Why does that sound familiar?
It is if you took Tomb Raider and you mixed it with Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh.
You've got different weapons you can do, different things. You have a hook shot.
Okay.
You can just
Hook
launch yourself
shot.
right up. There's an
Sweet.
actual story. There's gameplay that's not just running around with quap physics on a horse.
You mean like Shadow of the Colossus?
Yes. So it's like it's Shadow of the Colossus without the controls that make the game feel better.
Clunky?
I don't know. People who say
is
that
the
are-
word clunky?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm kind of with Tony on Shadow of the Colossus. I really want to like it more than I do. But if you like that type of game where there are lots of big bosses, kind of exploration, but like I said, they put in some Tomb Raider type like gameplay with the platforming, and it's much tighter controls and better weapons and things like that.
Well, that's good.
So they released a trailer, PlayStation did, 2 years ago. And there hasn't...
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. It's ringing a bell. Pray for the Gods. Does it show like a little guy in front of a really big, like, gorilla-looking monster kind of a thing?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was able to play through to the first boss, and that's just about the way I would say it. It's just Shadow of the Colossus meets Tomb Raider. There's more to do. It's a good aesthetic.
Hopefully
I had a
it's
lot of fun.
better.
I think it is. I also don't think it's coming out anytime soon because he kept saying I think he was the one developer. Like as we were talking, he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna add this and we're gonna add that. And we're gonna add this and we're gonna add that." And I'm like,
geez.
"Sure, you are."
This will be out on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, there was a lot of things they were still trying to add on to this. I don't know how long it's been in the development, but It was part of what PAX calls the Indie 10, where they kind of pick the 10 standout games they think are going to be the best indie games there. And
Nice.
honestly, I thought there were better ones that weren't part of that. But if you ever get a chance to go to PAX, you should. They even rented out the entire Hard Rock. Bethesda rented out the entire Hard Rock Cafe, all 4 levels, giving out full drinks, food,
Whoa.
everything. They had a Quake tournament going on. That new game that they just announced at the Apple thing for your phone, they had that for demo if you wanted to
Blades.
play it. Blades, they
Yeah.
had that out. They were giving out pop sockets with that logo on it. I don't know.
Did you get one?
I did. I gave it to my daughter.
Nice.
She was pretty excited. but I mean, it was nuts. It was an experience. I went all 4 days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Wow.
And if I could go back, I would go for 2. Like
Yeah.
there was just so much to do, and so much to see. But at the same time, I kind of got overwhelmed. I was
Sounds
just
like
I don't know.
CES.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
thanks for letting me talk about that.
Yeah, thanks for reporting on that. That's pretty cool. I think we're going to do a lot, basically kind of just a gaming-focused episode today. Owen, tell us about Nintendo's latest news. It's going to make some people happy and some people not so happy.
So in order to maintain your save data, you have to maintain your online membership to their platform.
I guess maybe that won't make anyone happy.
So if it lapses, your save data is deleted.
They
In the-
don't say
in the
that.
cloud.
They
It'll still be on your Switch.
right, but they allude to it. They're like they say there's no guarantee on them saving your game data.
As much as I love Nintendo, it's like they're gonna like, hey guys, we're gonna make something suck about this.
yeah, they're like,
I think they do.
It's like making you brownies and then throwing raisins in there. Like,
Yeah.
why?
It's like they.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
That is the worst idea. You're a terrible person for thinking that's okay.
That's
I'm
basi-
fine with that.
Fine, I'm going to put an apricot in your brownie. That's terrible too.
That sounds good too.
awful. Make most people vomit. You should work for Nintendo.
But on the plus side, they're only charging $20 a year for their online service. So, I mean, there's the silver lining.
And even cheaper if you do a family membership
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
combine with
but
other
you
people.
have to keep it even if you're pausing, like even if you're not going to play for a while or whatever. Like,
Well, assuming that you switch
that you-
switches,
yeah,
then you'll pony up the money. I don't expect it to be too much of a problem though for most people.
One thing as well is if you have your old account from your Wii U not attached to your Switch, I think is what it is. I can't remember exactly how this went. Anyway, they're putting a deadline on it where if you don't have your Nintendo Online account attached to your Switch account by a certain day coming up soon in the next couple weeks, basically they're shutting it out, shutting it down.
Nintendo's so weird with online account
They
stuff.
really are. It is bizarre.
so they officially say Nintendo is unable to guarantee that cloud save data will be retained after an extended period of time from when your membership is ended.
Unable to guarantee.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Black Ops 4 beta. So this last weekend on on PC and Xbox, they had a beta for the Battle Royale mode of Black Ops 4. The PC one was free. They let anyone in. You had to have a pre-order to get into the Xbox one, though.
It felt like Battle Royale.
Yeah, so Jarron and I got to play it for a while, and then Joe said he played it a little bit too.
I played about 5 rounds.
5 rounds? Okay.
Yeah, I got on it last night for a bit.
Nice. I got to say that I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
It was fun.
I don't know if I'm sold on it yet, but I did enjoy it. Graphically, it's hard to rate because it's a beta and you don't know what version of the code they're running, because this whole idea was just to test out the network capabilities of their servers. But
I'll say this.
It wasn't a super pretty game.
I was not impressed with the graphics.
As someone who's played 227 hours of PUBG,
Wow. You had that written down?
It's in his
pulled
app.
up my Steam app just to
Oh,
double check.
Okay, all right.
It is. If you took PUBG and everything that sucked about PUBG, you kind of like fixed and made a proper game. PUBG's just kind of broken. It's why I stopped playing.
Well, and I think that the reason why it can be better like that is because you're dealing with Treyarch and Beanox and Raven, who have been making games for years.
Right.
And they know what they're doing. And PUBG is a couple of guys
Microtransactions.
that modded things.
Like I
out
said, I
and-
still think it's in early access in most places.
Yeah.
Like It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's tons of fun. It's far more fast paced than PUBG. It doesn't have the weird dumb building element that Fortnite does.
Yeah, I never got into the building aspect of Fortnite at all. It's just kind of there, you know.
So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be getting it for
You're gonna
sure.
get it?
Absolutely. I'll be getting it. I'll be playing it. You'll find me Caladane. Look it up earlier for the spelling.
I liked it. I don't think Battle Royale is for me because I'm not good. I die a lot. And there's a lot of waiting when you die and get into a new round. And I'd prefer just to respawn, you know, and die again.
And I can totally see that. The Battle Royale, it appeals because it has some of the highest highs. When you're like the top, as soon as you get past that part where you can be in the top 10 and you just kind of figure it out. And I mean, for the first part of me playing PUBG, it was all just hiding mostly. I'm hiding, trying out, sneaking up on people.
Yep.
But as soon as you get to the point where you're in the top 10, it is a high. But yeah, the lows in those games are pretty low. They're boring. It's just running, which is why I'm glad that this one's so much more faster paced.
It was fast.
You fall down to the ground in like 5 seconds versus like 15 seconds of floating generally into the general direction.
We actually got into the top 10 last night. It was down to me. Tony died because, you know, Tony dies.
Because Jarron left me to die.
You were in the water.
You have to stay in a group.
Right?
Okay, so zombies were attacking him, the circle was closing. I had an ATV waiting for him. I'm like, the circle's closing, Tony. Then, like, 5 minutes later, come pick me up.
5 minutes, like 15 seconds.
And so, like, we were both, our health was just diminishing because we were outside the circle. And
so what does Jarron do? He gets us just inside the circle, just in time for them to say, the circle's closing again. And so the circle starts moving again, and I'm out of health at that point. I have like 35% health, and I just died. And then Jarron swam on and kept going, and I played lookout for him as a spectator cam.
When I died, though, it was pretty embarrassing.
So, I mean, I've played so much PUBG, and I've gotten second place about a dozen times. Never got first place because I panicked.
Never got that chicken dinner, huh?
Not by myself.
Oh,
so I've gotten with other people, but there was this one time where all my group died. It was just me and one other guy. They're all telling me what to do, and I'm like, "There's too many instructions going on. I don't know." And it's like I had a sniper rifle, ghillie suit. I'm looking in a bush. I can see the other guy, and like I do something stupid like stand up, and then he shoots me in the head and the game's over.
Yeah, somebody threw a grenade. I heard a noise. I screamed like a girl. I just started shooting in whatever direction I was, and then I was dead.
See,
Pretty
it's
much.
super fun.
That's
so
exactly
you
what happened.
just got to be able to get to that every single time. It takes a little bit to
Yeah.
get to the point, but as soon as you can get to the point where you're ranking pretty high every round, it's a lot of fun.
I never get to that point. Ever.
But
In the
you got to
history of
join. You got to join the team of the people that can get to that
Right.
point.
Sounds like
Yeah.
social interaction where it's not my forte. So if they need a silent person that pretends like their mic is broken, that doesn't take instruction well and dies a lot, then that's me.
Hey,
So,
I'm with
your
you.
guy.
I also would always drive the car until they wouldn't let me drive the cars anymore.
Yeah, by the way,
I played
Jarron,
a lot of chicken.
You're not allowed to drive the ATV anymore in that game. I will not let you drive me
I
around.
was good at it.
You were terrible.
Yeah, you're right. I was really bad.
But it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. I'm on the fence. I might actually pick it up. Coming from, I refuse to buy this Black Ops game because it has no single player campaign. That's how much this beta swayed me. So,
Well, it's fun. It's fun.
yep. Okay, and then I also got to experience a little bit of Battlefield 5 2 weekends ago. They had the beta for that, and interesting findings in that game. First of all, it's real pretty because it's Battlefield, and the dice engine is just gorgeous. However, really weird on my computer. First of all, I don't think it was supporting SLI, and I'm sure they'll fix this by the time the game comes out, because I got worse frame rates with SLI on than I did when I turned SLI off and used only a single card.
Weird.
It was really weird. And then secondly, DirectX 12 on my system, worse frame rates than if I used DirectX 11. So
Also weird.
I don't know what's going on with the code they used in that version of the beta, but it was all over the place. Now, as far as the gameplay goes, it's your classic Battlefield. It's World War II setting, so you have slightly more modern weapons than you did with Battlefield 1.
What are you getting in it that's better than Battlefield 1?
You get better tanks. You get better not mortars. What are they called when they have the the big cannons that have the things that come off the back, and it fires
Artillery?
into the air. Yeah, better. You can man artillery. That was actually pretty cool. I shot down a few planes, a few fighter planes with the artillery cannon. That was neat. I'll give it that. The destructible environments were actually pretty dang cool for the buildings and everything. So it's definitely got potential, but for me, that game is going to live and die by the single-player campaign. If it has a good single-player campaign, I'll pick it up. I'm just not a multiplayer Battlefield kind of guy. But like Battlefield 1 had a really cool campaign. It was short. It was only like 6 hours, but it was really good. So I'm hoping they do the same thing with Battlefield 5. Yeah, 5. Even though last year it was 1.
Yeah, it makes sense.
See,
Okay.
I need that.
Battlefield 15. I got it.
I don't
Yeah.
Just put any number. If you're going to make them up, just put any number.
You should have just done
Have you-
Roman numeral 2.
Yeah.
Have you played Battlefield V?
Battlefield. Oh, that's the one I'm looking forward to. Is Battlefield V.
Oh, I just made that up. I didn't know it was real.
Yeah.
That's
5.
That's 5.
Oh, it is 5? Okay.
In Roman numerals. Yeah.
Well, I get that. That's why I was saying V versus 5.
Yeah, that's what they need to do.
I figured that's what the next one would be.
I hope the next one was Battlefield VI. I like VI. Okay. Now, Jarron has some BS for us, and then we're going to talk about the Apple Keynote.
Yeah, and actually, I found this BS, and then was it Aaron Faulkner?
Yeah,
He sent it in too.
So that the second link on our show notes is actually the one from Aaron Faulkner. I didn't
Yeah.
know they were the same company. So
Yep.
good job.
This actually sounds kind of promising to me, which I don't know.
Most BS sounds pretty promising. Though.
This one sounds like it might actually happen. It's a startup based off of a research program at the University of Colorado Boulder. Anyway, it's solid-state batteries, which is the holy grail of batteries right now. It promises 2 to 3 times higher energy versus current lithium-ion. Substantially improved safety, so it won't blow up and catch on fire. It's supposed to be somewhat low cost. And anyway, a lot of companies have invested in the startup, which is the thing that signifies that it could actually happen. Anyway, it's kind of exciting. I really, really hope that it happens.
So this is the solid state batteries.
Yeah.
So there's a couple companies that are shooting towards this at this point, aren't there?
Yeah.
You just think that these guys might have what it takes to
I think
drive
so
it home?
because they're getting investments, and if I were an investor, I would say, "Here, show me what you have." Oh, okay, I'll actually invest in this. You know.
Is that the end?
Yeah, that's the end. But they, Hyundai, Samsung, they're all investing in it, so it's cool. I'm hoping it'll happen, or it could be BS.
Those are big companies. So
Yeah.
I feel like with big companies, you either have one of two things happening. Either one, they're just like, this is a long shot, but we have some R&D money we need to burn. Here you go. Or two, they see it and they're like, this could actually get some legs underneath it.
So you imagine an electric car that could go 600 to 900 miles on a charge.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
That would be
Or
right.
a smartphone that could actually last 3 days instead of 1.
Mine lasts 2.
Ah.
Hey.
Let's see. Okay. Owen, this definitely needs to be talked about, I believe, with Sony and their ridiculous copyright claims.
Yeah.
How absurd is this?
They went on. So some guy posts a video on Facebook of him playing some Bach
Yeah.
of his own recording, right?
Wait, he was actually playing it on the piano?
Yeah, he was playing it himself.
Wow.
And his post gets shut down by Facebook's AI, by their copyright. They got
algorithm.
Yeah, they got a takedown notice because Sony hit up Facebook's takedown algorithm because Sony claims that Sebastian Bach, they own the rights to that music.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's been dead for hundreds of years.
300 years to be precise.
What?
And the guy being like, "Hey, that's wrong," sends Facebook like a fight. He fights it. And
You mean YouTube?
but it was Facebook. It was on Facebook.
Oh, Facebook
This
gave
was-
him the takedown.
Yeah, the
notice.
takedown.
Oh, sorry. I'm confused.
Facebook just muted his music. So Sony gave Facebook the takedown notice.
Yeah.
Facebook went to his thing, muted his video
Uh-huh.
to kill the music, right?
Right.
The guy whose video it is goes, "Hey, that's wrong." So, Johann Sebastian Bach has been dead for
It's
300
public
years.
domain.
It's public domain for,
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
And Sony doesn't immediately go, "You're right." They don't. The guy fights him. And the guy actually took it to Facebook and was like, "What? Facebook? No, obviously." And Facebook didn't do anything because all Facebook did was take it to Sony and say, "Hey, this is what they're saying. What do you want to do, Sony?" And Sony didn't take it back.
Oh my god.
Like they didn't release the takedown notice. And so the guy tweeted out publicly, and the public shaming is what got Sony to eventually release it. Because it wasn't like some dude sat there at Sony and was like, takedown. This was their AI, right? This was some
Right.
algorithm that false positive hit his thing and said, "Oh, that's ours," and automatically triggered the Facebook, which is also just like, "Oh, you have a very valid claim if that's what you're saying," and it checked it, and that one was wrong. That one also pulled up false positive. And so, I think that there's so much digital content out there right now that as the copyright world tries to keep up with who's paying for what, right? Art, and digital art, like music and movies and stuff, I think I think we're going to see a lot more of that as AIs just constantly claim, that this is theirs. And I think we'll see more of that because there's no way for people to do it like they used to before. Like you used to have somebody that was like, they had people on YouTube, like
They would,
scrolling through,
check it out.
like hundreds and thousands of people they would hire to vet YouTube videos for takedown.
Wouldn't it be funny if the thing that pushes our AI development to the point where it's actually like self-aware and conscious of its own being is copyright law?
Yeah. Like who's getting the money?
Yeah, trying to figure out how to best do copyright law through AI.
Well, it's that whole thing like with the European Union just passing that law about pictures.
Yeah.
Like if you can't make memes with pictures that somebody else owns anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about this.
It just got passed like last week. Everybody's making fun of them. It's stupid.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think they in this article about Facebook they mentioned that how the EU is kind of in a lot of like social like public hot water just because they're like, what? Like if you put a picture out there in the public space,
Yeah.
like I should be,
If I draw a picture and say it's my picture and then you take that picture and make it into a meme, according to European law now, like the website that's hosting it has to take it down if I dispute that.
So
Or
yeah,
something that I haven't read the law, but that's my understanding.
the problem with that is
It's stupid.
yeah, it is stupid, but so the producer of the photograph or the picture retains the rights to basically make any money off of it.
Yeah, and nobody's making money off of memes.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And
and
this is
they're trying to monetize
this
The
it.
is
websites are making money off of the places that they're posting them.
Right.
I can
There-
see how
places
it could
like
affect
Imgur and
sales,
everything else.
though.
Sure.
If something that you consider
This is going back to that thing you were talking about last time about the encrypted artwork and getting
Yeah.
the digital thing with
right.
Right.
So
But if you have like this beautiful picture and someone turns it into this embarrassing meme, no one's going to buy it because they associate that picture with something embarrassing.
Everyone's gonna buy it.
So maybe like defamation of artwork. Like
Yeah.
you think that they're going to defame maybe a digital
I
piece.
mean,
But
it's
on
kind of
the-
out there. I'm kind of stretching
yeah,
here, but
I think you're on the other hand, I think that if that made your picture famous, you would probably
There's
sell more
no
of
such
them.
thing as bad PR.
Bingo.
Honestly, I'm kind of the opinion that like porn seems to drive technology. Whatever happens with this, like, did you guys see that video where it was a thing that said, "Hey, who came up with this idea of like when YouTube started doing the previews when you hovered over the video?"
Oh yeah.
and they're like
Or when you scrub on the
and
timeline.
Pornhub's like, I wonder where you guys got that idea.
Yeah.
Like, I think all the future with technology comes from those websites. Like those,
Because they can do whatever they want. Nobody's going to be like, well, I was looking at porn and
Yeah,
I noticed
exactly.
that they're doing this and it's illegal. Like they beta test everything for us.
absolutely.
Like for Google and YouTube. And then because it's so seedy and shady and socially unacceptable, like,
Well,
and
I mean,
if you go back even further, the crazy part about that is you go back to beta versus VHS.
yep.
VHS won because that's what the porn industry decided to back.
History repeats itself with Blu-ray and
HD
HD DVD.
Yep.
Which HD DVD was actually what was supported by the porn industry, but it got such bad PR that they
So it worked in
the opposite,
reverse
yeah.
that time.
because Sony owns the copyright to Blu-ray and to the Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
So it was a really good deal for Sony in that.
I'm
but-
glad Blu-ray won
and
because
Sony, wow, bringing that
PlayStation.
full circle.
Yeah.
We just started
That's
with
right.
Sony. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You're so good at this.
Blu-ray was the better technology in all
Yeah,
honesty.
it
though.
was.
Yeah.
It held more data.
Yep. Speaking of movies, poor old Movie Pass,
Yeah.
which I still have a subscription to.
Why
Did they
didn't you
force
cancel it?
Because
I
they
already paid for a year up front, and they're not going to give me my money back.
Did you buy it through Costco?
No, I bought it through their
Oh.
website.
Sucker.
Costco's
I
giving
know.
refunds, right? They were prorating refunds, but they were giving them.
I thought there was a special way you could get a refund.
Yeah, you can get a refund if you get an email from them basically saying, we apologize for any inconveniences. Here's our new plans. If you want a refund, click on this link. You have to use the link they send you to get a refund.
So how much was?
You can't go on the website and request a refund. If you go on the website right now, like if I were to go on the website and request a cancellation, they would just cancel me and take my money.
There's like, yeah, you can cancel your account, less
Yeah.
overhead on our servers.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodbye.
Yep.
But we're keeping your money. How much did MoviePass cost per month?
When I bought it, it ended up being about $9 a month.
$9 a month.
When you did the math.
When I would look at that, I would say that is an untenable. How are they doing that?
100% untenable.
How? I mean, one movie.
Turns
at
out
this
you were
point-
right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would have jumped on the train just like you had I never.
I had someone tell me about it super early, and I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah. How are you doing it?
I just don't think it works. I
I-
signed up for Cinemark's plan.
I like Cinemark's
Yeah.
plan.
And I'm fine
I did
with
that
it.
for a while. I know a guy that I work with, though, that has been doing MoviePass for 4 years. And he did it back when it was like $30 a month.
Yeah.
And he said it was the greatest thing ever because he got unlimited movies for whatever the price was at the time that they were doing it. And now he's pissed about it, obviously, because he gets no movies.
So this
Oh,
so this
poor
new
guy.
so this new company, Cinemia,
Yeah.
right? They are doing the $30 a month, which I mean, when I didn't have kids as young as I do now, I went to 3 movies a month. Like
Yeah.
I would on average, or over time, I guess I do the blockbusters. Like
Putting a lot of caveats in there.
Anyway, I was like, do I do 3 movies a month? Not in the slow period when they're the grant, like when they're what are the Oscars? What are the ones that are like the hoity-toity, artsy-fartsy ones?
I hardly go to the movies at all from usually from the end of August to about November.
November, right? When
And then after the beginning of the new year, because they do all the stuff comes out around Christmas. That's
Thanksgiving,
got
Christmas,
some good
or-
stuff.
Hey, Venom comes out in a few weeks.
Yeah,
Not Christmas.
yeah. and then from about the middle of January till May is also really slow usually.
yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go to 3 movies a month consistently.
Right, but you might
But-
average it out to be 3
Yeah,
a month for the
when
year.
when the blockbusters come out. So
Yeah.
this new company, Cinemia, that's their business model, and they're basically saying, it says somewhere in the article that without the epic failure of MoviePass, there was no reason for these guys to even come to promote or to try and get anything in because they just couldn't compete with $9 a month. They were
Right,
just,
for unlimited.
but now when people are like, I mean, anybody that looks at it and goes, okay, $30 a month, they go, yeah. I mean, anybody who looks at MoviePass and goes, $9 a month, yeah, they were making money somehow.
No.
No way.
No.
I mean, unless the movies were the movie theaters were giving them a huge kickback of something.
The only way they would have been making money is if they had a deal with every theater
Yeah.
to get movies for like $2 a ticket.
Yeah, which
And nobody was doing that in the movie theater.
and banking on those people that bought MoviePass who are already deal seekers,
yeah.
buying movie
Which,
snacks.
The only way they could have done that is if they would have done something like with plane tickets where you can do standby mode.
Right.
You have to have if you want to come
There
in
you
here for
go.
free, you can get in if nobody buys
Right.
tickets.
Yeah.
We'll let you in 15
because they're
minutes
gonna
before.
because they're gonna lose money to seats.
Yeah,
Right, filling
so, I
seats
mean,
for
that
$2
makes sense,
is
but
better
they do
than
something like
zero.
that, but nobody's going to go there and stand in the
No.
movie line. Oh, I
Right.
sure hope I get in on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 15 years ago, but not ever since Pick Your Seats has come around.
Well,
and
not
things
only
like
that, but I mean, seriously, wait 3 months. I mean,
The movie's
Solo,
out, right?
you know,
That's way too long.
3 months and the movie's there, and you can watch it on these giant, TVs. in
3
Jarron's basement.
months? Get out of town.
Once you have kids, you'll understand.
Yeah, so cinema is, are they unlimited or is it a number
It says right here, unlimited.
unlimited? Because I know they have a bunch of other plans where you can do like 3 a month or 1 a month, things like that. So this is their unlimited, huh?
Yeah, they're saying basically with that movie's past failure, nobody would have done it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because why? but they're saying that they're saying that $30 a month is actually
$30 a month
them
doesn't
in-
make sense to me unless I can buy more tickets than for just me. I just don't go to that many movies in a month.
I don't
Right.
either.
I really like Cinemark's plan because it's like $9 a month, but it's stacked. So if I wait for 3 months, I have tickets for me, my wife, and my daughter to go to the movies for free.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and not only that, with Cinemark One, it's $9 a ticket after that,
Yeah, and everything's
know,
way cheaper.
and you get
You
20.
don't have to pay the service charges either.
No service charges online and 20% off all concessions.
I hate those service
It's actually,
charges.
I know, I hate them
You
so
know, it's
much.
seriously, the Cinemark one is worth it. It's not Movie Pass, but Movie Pass was too good to be true.
And that's exactly what happened to me. Is I did Cinemark for over a year, and I was like, "This is great." And then MoviePass was so cheap, I was like, "I gotta try it out." So I dumped my Cinemark membership and went to MoviePass, and I regret it ever since.
You're going to go back now?
Yes, I will. Okay, let's talk about the good old Apple Keynote. We got to talk about that.
And my Apple TV just updated.
Oh, it looks the
Dolby
same.
Atmos.
That looks the
I
same.
did hear that, and I thought, oh, Jarron will be excited.
Yes. So Apple Keynote, I thought it was meh. Like really,
It really was.
really meh. Sum up, they have a brand new Apple Watch, which is probably the coolest thing they talked about. New iPhones, iPhone XS, iPhone XS Max, iPhone XR, and it all looks like XR, XS, X. Their naming's horrible right
It's really
now.
weird.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's like Battlefield 1.
It's
Yeah.
yes.
Exactly. And that's pretty much it. So the new Apple Watch has a bigger screen, faster processor, has a ECG in there now.
Yeah, ECG reader.
EKG?
ECG.
Which is cool if you're into that thing, sort of thing.
It feels like they're trying to pivot and do health stuff a lot because they want people to have another reason to buy
Yeah, because it's not apps. Because
a watch.
apps on a watch
apps
are
on a watch are
horrible.
garbage.
Did they get rid of the haptic button, or is it still there?
So you still have the crown?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
No,
still
it's
got
still
the
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
crown. And I think they added haptic feedback to the crown.
Yeah, they did.
So
So it's cool. So the Apple Watch is cool. It doesn't, besides the ECG, doesn't really do anything more than the previous generations.
yeah.
So I'm not too excited about it, but it's a cool thing. They jacked up the price too, which is a bummer.
That was a theme in that
Yeah.
in that keynote.
Yep. iPhone XS, horrible name. Pretty much exact same as the iPhone 10, except has a faster processor, better camera.
And half an hour more of battery.
Yeah. The battery life is negligible. Their processor team, they're still killing it.
Their processor engineers are bar none the best in the market right now.
Yeah. iPhone XS Max, it's a bigger version of the XS, has the exact same specs though, except for the bigger screen, slightly better battery life. iPhone XR, this is the kind of weird one to me.
That's the one that actually appeals to me the most, I think.
Isn't it basically just a slightly different version of the 10?
So
It's-
it's basically the 10S with a LCD screen.
So not as good of a screen.
And one camera lens on the back instead of two.
Yep. So you can't zoom in, but it'll still do the bokeh depth of field.
So
effect.
as a result of it being an LCD screen, the bezels are slightly larger all the way around the phone.
Yeah.
Still has the notch. Still does Face ID. Same CPU, GPU,
It
same
does
RAM.
not have 3D touch though.
Doesn't have. Well, who cares?
I use it all the time, honestly.
You're the only person I've ever talked to that says that.
I
Where-
kind of hate 3D touch.
See?
No. Where you use it is the notifications to expand them. I use that constantly. I also use it to turn on the flashlight, camera, but that can be changed with software, so that's not a big deal. But notifications, I use it all the time.
Yeah.
So you're saying the 10R intrigued you somehow?
Yeah,
being
because-
less of
It's
a
because-
cheaper.
oh, I bet the price
It starts
point.
at $700,
Oh, okay.
$750, I think.
$750, and
Okay.
the other one started at $1,100.
Okay, yeah.
You're getting 99% of the functionality for $400 cheaper.
Yeah, it's not a glass back. It's not made of stainless steel.
Which I think is kind of a selling point
Yeah,
that it's
it
not a
could be.
glass back.
Yeah.
You don't have wireless charging, but you have a more durable phone.
I agree because I shattered one of my iPhone 10s and it broke my heart, my wee little heart. So, yeah, kind of boring. Phones are boring now, so that's
They're very iterative, especially this keynote.
yeah.
This keynote, I think, was a prime example of seeing all of the fake applause that everyone has in the
It was
Apple
so
keynotes.
bad.
They applaud after every little thing.
The Apple
one,
Watch has the exact same battery life as the previous
That's
year.
the one that got me the most.
And everyone
They're like,
clapped.
let's talk about the Apple Watch. Battery life, exactly the same. Woo! Yeah!
You didn't decrease our battery life.
I'm just like, are you kidding me with
If you
this?
don't clap, you don't come back next year.
That's what it almost sounds like. If you get invited to the keynote, you have to clap for everything.
We have facial recognition on all of you.
I'm just trying to get invited back here.
Joe's in. Joe's in.
So iOS 12 just got released today. It is a awesome update. I would recommend everyone to update.
Released today for everything.
Everything.
TV,
Yep.
iPad.
And watch.
Nice.
It is. I haven't. So previous, every single iOS update, like 1.0 update, it's been buggy as crap.
Mm-hmm.
It's been rock solid this time.
Nice.
Yeah, my phone seriously does feel faster. It launches apps a lot
but
faster.
You
It's a
said
lot
that
smoother.
after every update I've ever seen you put on your phone. Tony, it's so much faster. Oh,
Well-
Tony, it's smoother.
You just took away my credibility, but honestly, other people are saying it too, so it's
Okay.
not just me.
I guess.
It really is
I
faster.
haven't updated yet.
I would recommend it.
Yeah, run a test before you update yours. See how the apps open, things like
All right,
that.
let me get on
And then-
Jarron's slow Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
No, that hurts. That pains me. Other than that, there's really not too many new features I'm excited about personally.
Oh, it's unconfirmed, but it should be. It looks like there's more RAM in the phones too compared to last year.
Are you trolling me here? Software updates can't give you more RAM.
No,
Tony.
I'm talking about in the XS.
Oh,
and the XS
got it,
Max
got it. Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
XR. They should, according
Yes,
to
they
the
can.
Download more RAM.
don't download more RAM. According to the leak I saw, though, the number was weird. It showed an iPhone 10 with I think it was like 2,998 megabytes of RAM or something like that. Kind of a weird number.
Yeah.
And then on the iPhone 10s, or that's at least what they're assuming it was, because it said it had a A12. It said 3,546 megabytes of RAM.
That's a weird number.
That'd be like 3.5 gig.
Yeah.
Not 4 gig. So I don't know. Unconfirmed.
The 40's what? 4096?
Yeah, 4096 is what it should be. Okay, one more thing I want to hit on before we close. I have been breaking my rule a lot lately about not pre-ordering things. Like a lot. But I found a loophole. I'm not actually pre-ordering anything. I'm backing things on Indiegogo, which they specifically say that is not a pre-order. That is a support of a company's future
And
product.
they happen to...
And they just happen to
they
give
happen
me
to
one.
reward you
Yes.
that. Okay.
With a cheaper
I think
product.
pre-ordering is just a thing with software.
Right, yeah.
Honestly,
Thank you.
Pre-order this thing that there is an unlimited supply of.
If you're
Makes no sense.
if you're pre-ordering it vastly reduced in price,
That's my justification.
Good
right
deal.
there.
Go for it.
My justification for backing stuff like that is, and in the past I've been even against that kind of thing, but I found my justification now is if it's coming from a known company that has a good track record, and you're getting a big discount on the product, like I'm talking like 50% or more, I would say it might be worth it to consider backing something.
How would somebody that's not into... How would somebody verify if that company's a
You just gotta-
well-known company?
You just got to look them up online.
Google it.
See what
Sounds so much work.
see what other products they've done.
I'll just wait for you guys to tell me. That's too much work.
Fair enough. You might miss the ability to back it by that point.
And
but
and then another tip: see how far out the shipping is.
That's another one,
that
yeah.
they say. If they say it's like 2 months from now, okay, they've already developed the product. They already have
it's been
a
prototyped.
manufacturer.
They have manufacturers in line.
If it's like a year out, 2 years out,
questionable.
yeah.
So I backed the Audeze Mobius gaming headset. I backed these back in I want to say like May or April, and I got them 2 weeks ago, and I've been putting them through their paces in the last 2 weeks. Audeze is a company that's been around for over a decade doing high-end planar magnetic headphones. So most headphones use a diaphragm that uses a magnet and like a Kevlar type material that moves in and out to create the
sound waves.
sound.
Right.
I don't have any idea how planar magnetic works, but it's different.
And it's awesome.
And let me tell you, it is awesome. So the thing with these Odyssey headphones is they all have the planar magnetic drivers, and I don't know how this relates to the regular drivers, but a regular driver in a nice headphone, you're looking usually at 40 or 50 millimeter drivers. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, the planar magnetic drivers the Audeze uses a lot of the time are like 90 plus millimeters, so you're able to produce a lower end tone. Now these ones are their first foray into gaming, so it's really interesting. They basically tried to throw in everything in the kitchen sink on these headphones. They have Bluetooth connectivity, and it uses I don't know, I couldn't see what Bluetooth it uses, if it's 5.0 or what, but they do use LDAC for their Bluetooth, which means you get 3 times the bandwidth when you're transmitting Bluetooth music.
That's cool.
Which means your Bluetooth music comes in really, really
Does
good.
the phone or computer have to support that?
I would assume so, but I know that my Samsung supports it because it was an option I had to turn on
Cool.
the Bluetooth menu for this headset.
It's called LDAC?
LDAC, I believe. So it does that. It does audio over 3.5 millimeter headphone jack that is removable, and it also does audio over USB Type-C. So you pretty much get all your bases covered. Now, what makes this headphone so interesting is they have these separate modes built into the headset. They have an amplifier built into the headset. So plus side of that is everything is amplified that comes to your headphone, whether it's through USB 3.5 or Bluetooth. You have automatic amplification, so you get better sound, bigger sound. The thing is, though, as a result, you cannot use the headphones unless they are turned on. So even if you're using 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, you have to turn it on and use the battery.
Okay, and they got a rechargeable.
Has a rechargeable lithium-ion battery, gets you 10 plus hours of usage. So that's long enough that you're pretty good to go all day usually, and just charge it at night if you need to. Now, also built into this is the computer they have built into there with the software that does, they call it 3D audio. And basically it creates a more immersive 3D soundscape for you to listen to music that also has gyroscopic sensors in the headset. So when you turn your head, the sound sounds like it's staying in front of your head. So you hear it only through one ear cup and then through the other ear cup. It is really trippy.
Has that been cool for gaming?
For gaming, it sucks.
Right.
Now, for music, it's pretty cool because
Right.
it really expands the soundstage, and with that effect, it feels like you're sitting in front of the live band listening to it. Really neat. Kind of gimmicky, but still really cool. It's nice to see someone pushing new technology and things like that into the headset arena.
So does that just change like when you turn it on and then that's where base 0 is? So it knows if you turn left or right?
It has 2 options. You can do manual, which does that. You hit the button again and it says centered, and that's what it thinks is center. It has another one that's auto, and the way auto works is basically if you move your head and you keep it pointed another direction for a while, it gradually
center
resets
zero.
it over there.
I see.
Pretty cool. And then they have built-in 7.1 surround sound virtual imaging for gaming. And it is the most amazing 7.1 surround sound simulation I've ever heard in any gaming headset. It is bonkers. Like, I could not believe how good it sounds. And then on top of that, with the planar magnetic drivers in there, the low end on these things is just amazing. You know that feeling when you're like shooting a shotgun or you're around something that explodes and you can feel the pressure drop in your eardrums? Not just the sound, but you actually feel the pressure drop. You get that with these headphones. I was playing the Battlefield 5 and Black Ops 4 betas with these things, and I'd hear explosions off to the side of me, and I'd feel the air pressure change inside my ear. It was crazy. These are the most amazing headphones I've ever used in my entire life, and I know I sound like I'm gushing.
Bold claim.
I sound like I'm gushing because I am. I probably am overselling it, but they've blown me away, honestly. And
how much did you get?
So
how much was the backing for, and how much are they now?
Since I backed the second tier, not the earliest early bird, but the second early bird, or whatever they call it. I paid $240
Okay.
for these headphones. Retail now they're going for $500.
Okay.
I should have done that.
And how did you find out about how did you find them?
I just saw.
You were just browsing through Indiegogo?
No, I wasn't browsing Indiegogo. I think I was on Engadget.
Okay.
And it was just like, hey, this came up today from Audeze, because like I said, they've been around for over a decade.
And you knew that already about Odyssey?
Yeah, they're well known in the audio business. Most of their headphones sell for over $1,000.
Okay.
Which is why when I saw it, I was
240.
like, $240 for planar magnetic headphones. That's almost an unbeatable price just for the headphones technology
even if
themselves.
just for the planar magnetic.
Yeah, even if the 3D audio stuff sucks, even if the 7.1 simulation isn't very good, the sound reproduction should be well worth the money on that. And honestly, they hit it out of the park. Like there's a few small things that I think that they need to address with some of the sound emulation in the 7.1. Very small quibbles, but I'm pretty sure they can fix that with the firmware update.
Also, they were really cool when you had some issues, right?
And when I did have some issues, and they walked me through some of the steps to clear up what was going on.
What were those steps, Tony?
I needed to unpair it and repair it to my Bluetooth. I was too close to the problem. I couldn't see it. And then they actually sent me a USB Type-C to Type-C cable where one metal tip was longer than the other.
That came in the box.
Came in the box with it, yeah. And I sent him a picture, and I said, can I get a new one of these or something? Because the shorter end won't plug into anything. It won't connect. And they sent back a response. They're like, we have never seen this before in our lives. That is crazy. We'll send you out a new one right now. So anyway, they've been super awesome to work with. I can't say enough good things about this headset. I give it a straight 10 out of 10. Like this is the first perfect score I think I've ever given on anything we've talked about. And I say that having spent my own money on this. Like this wasn't any sort of review unit or anything. It has just been, they've been awesome. I didn't used to put headphones on for regular gaming anymore, just for like multiplayer, so I could do the talkback, the microphone. It's got a really good microphone too. And now I put the headphones on anytime I game on my PC. Now I put these headphones on because it sounds so good.
And you did sound crystal clear.
When
your
we
voice.
played Black Ops.
How comfortable are they?
So comfort-wise, talking to this part.
Sorry. How comfortable are they?
Hey. So I have a fat head, and so
yeah, you do.
They are maybe a teeny bit tight, but not to the point where they're uncomfortable, just noticeable. And also my ears stick out really far. And actually they are probably the second most comfortable pair of headphones I own. They turned out really, really good. The most comfortable pair of headphones I own are those Bose QC35-2s because they have huge ear cups.
Those hurt my ears,
man.
actually.
I could wear those for hours.
I looked up what LDAC is. So it's something Sony developed, and they built it directly into Android open source project. iPhone does not support it. Android does. The newer versions of Android, if you have Oreo or above.
Oreo?
Yeah.
Oh, Oreo. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. I have 8.1.
So I was going to say, when I was at PAX, I got to try, there was a booth with just a bunch of gaming headphones, and they have Overwatch there, and you could just try the different headphones. And there's these Audio Technica open back headphones.
That's a good brand.
They sounded so amazing, and they were so comfortable. I've never had a headphone that comfortable.
Right.
The only downside to them is they were wired only. But they were so nice and so comfy.
I always said to myself, the next pair of headphones I get for my PC are going to be wireless because I have wireless Xbox and wireless PlayStation headphones, and I love it. But honestly, after trying these out with the sound I get, it's worth the sacrifice of having the cord. They sound that good.
I don't mind the wire on the PC because I'm there anyway.
Yeah, that's another thing. You know, as long as the cord's a good 5 feet long, it doesn't matter. But anyway, 10 out of 10. If you got the scratch to buy them, I would highly recommend them, but they are expensive. So
you'll have to catch the next really cool company that's doing an Indiegogo.
There you go. See if maybe Audeze will release Mobius 2 sometime down the road.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm holding out for.
It might be a couple years away. All right. Is there anything else you guys wanted to hit on before we finish up?
There was, but I have to use the bathroom so bad. I'm giving it up.
Okay. Owen?
I think I'm going to buy a game. This coming out in October.
You're going to buy a game?
I think I'm going to buy a game.
He's going to buy a game and never play it.
I'm going to buy Mega Man. No, I'm going to buy Mega Man 11.
Doesn't mean you'll play it.
What about Boyfriend Dungeon?
Maybe. Date your love. What's power up your love.
He doesn't need to buy it. He has one in his own house.
Level up your love.
Level up your love. No, I'm gonna. I think Mega Man 11's coming out I love that
Now
franchise.
that's still they're going back to their side scroller style.
Yeah,
on this, right?
they're calling it 2.5D.
Okay.
So it's gonna have some upgraded.
Well, 2.5D is basically kind of like Donkey Kong Country.
Right. Yep.
So
I don't know. I always enjoyed those games, like the older ones, and so I think I'll try and introduce my kids to it.
Oh
So-
man, you're gonna get them so frustrated because the Mega
know.
Man games are hard.
They really
so
are
hard.
and I need
I
them.
love
to,
hard games. I beat the original Ninja Turtles game. I've never beat a Mega Man.
You always have to choose which one goes first. Like, which do I do? And the guy that reviewed it, he actually played it. He's like, they will punish you. You don't have to. There's a system, a gear system for mechanics and for weapons and something upgrading the game. And you don't have to use it. But they're like, they punish you for your arrogance.
Man.
They're like, if you think you can do it without it, and there's going to be some people that think they can't, they punish you in the game for your arrogance. So I'm excited just because that was always really frustrating to me to like play those, but it was always really rewarding when you finally beat one guy. And
Cutman.
Yeah.
Man, they had the weirdest names.
And,
Rockman.
And so I'm excited. I think I'll pick that game up in a few weeks.
See, there's certain games that I've played that I did play to completion that were so hard that I didn't feel good after I beat them. I just felt more angry that it took me as long. Yes,
Yeah.
resentful.
You're supposed to feel relief that it's
No.
finally over.
Okay, guys, Bloodborne, let me know.
No.
I'll get you through it.
No.
You'll love it. and all you need to do is look up those Children of the Winter. It is the dumbest game mechanic that's ever been invented in anything. I think that's what they're called. It's this horrible, horrible, stupid mob in the middle of the game.
You're really selling this.
I know.
Yeah, this sounds great.
I would help you get past it, Jarron. I'd hold your hand.
I'll take the second thing, but not the first thing.
He just wants his handheld a little bit.
I'm lonely.
All right. Awesome, Joe. Thanks again for coming on short notice.
You're welcome. Sorry, my list was kind of random and all over the place. I'm sure everybody paused it
No,
and
you
Googled
told
every single one of them.
There's a lot of games on there I
Yeah.
never heard of. I'm excited about it now.
I really enjoyed that.
Some of those games are out. Some of them are not.
Especially that time one on the Switch, whatever it's called.
That one's next week.
Retime? What's it called?
Retime.
Retimed.
Yeah.
ED.
Looks awesome.
Yeah.
I signed up for a thing and they're giving out certain codes for people who are at PAX, so I might get it for free.
Nice.
That'd be awesome.
But I don't find out for a week.
Well, let's hope you do.
PAX West. How much was
get it
PAX
for
West
free.
to get in? How much are tickets? PAX
$50
West?
a day.
That's not bad.
That's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not. The only reason I was able to go is my friend bought all the tickets the day they went on sale.
Uh-huh.
But then also people buy a bunch. The tickets sell out for Saturday, like within like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of resale. So even if you wanted to go to that, if you didn't have the money, like didn't get a ticket, there's people selling tickets constantly when you're walking around and you can get in there. So
Oh, nice.
it's $50 a day. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I went, but I don't know that I'd go again. It's just so much.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't even talk about how they have this thing called the Annex. It was an entire section dedicated to Fortnite mini golf that you had to sign up for like a day in advance to be able to get a tee time.
Holy cow.
It was kind of ridiculous.
Indeed. Alrighty. I think we are all done, so Jarron can go to the bathroom. And Owen, why don't you finish this off?
Hey, we hope you care.
Gadget Spot.